like downtown area, or are you on the
Yeah,
outskirts or what?
I'm on the outskirts in Maryland, but we're about maybe 10, 15 minutes from downtown DC. So
Do you go there a
pretty
lot? Do
crazy.
you go downtown a lot?
Sometimes there's a lot to see down there, but you know, after you've done it a few times, you get you kind of avoid that area unless someone's visiting, right?
And how do you go down when you go down? How do you travel down?
Metro is definitely the best way to travel around here.
Oh, awesome. And do you have a
Metro is
car
pretty
though?
good.
Do you have a car?
Yep, yep.
Oh, that's right. I remember we have a car story. We won't go there. We won't go there, but I remember your car story. So yes, you do have
Yeah,
a car.
no,
You should talk to
public
Michelle.
transport's good. Yeah, it's good here. So we use that a lot to go downtown for sure.
Cool. Well, I can't wait to come visit back east. My husband's daughter and her family live on the East Coast, and we haven't seen them in a while, and we haven't been back there. So I'm looking forward. One day it's on my dream list. I never say bucket list because we're not
I
garbage.
like that. I prefer Dreamless too.
Yeah, me too. So listen to this. We are live, and that's exciting. And I'm really grateful to have you here this morning to spend a little time with me and share this awesome stuff I'm learning from you, and also to my friends and viewers. And if you're out there, thank you so much for taking the time to watch. I'm Janice. If you don't know me, and I hope to get to know you. And I'm primarily putting this in my group, The Art of Living Joyfully. And if you're not in our group, come join us. We're having a lot of fun. And this is my friend, my good friend Michelle. I've known her and worked with her now for a while. I met her in the Empowered Entrepreneurs Sell More group, which is a great group. If you're an entrepreneur looking to sell more, you definitely want to check it out. And we're doing some like serious business in there, which is so fun. And Michelle
Mm.
is super knowledgeable in AI magic, like her beautiful screen there says. And in fact, I have an AI background too. I usually just like to be in my natural background because of the way it acts. But for just a second, I will put on my AI background. Wow.
I love it.
See, it's like things pop in and it's so weird. But anyway, I love your AI background and she can teach you how to do that too. So I got to tell you, I know that I was a little wary, but I'm always into doing things first and I like to be trying new ideas. And I know for a fact that, AI is here to stay. And
For sure.
it definitely is. And so we want to embrace it in a way because we can use it positively or negatively. And it's better to put our energy and our focus where we want it to go, right? And I want it to go more positively. So I have been using Go High Level and working with Michelle and learning how to incorporate AI into my message. And I wanted to bring her on because a lot of the people I work with in the health and wellness industry and just regular old people that want to learn how to be more efficient with their time, because you can do everything from have your weekly menu plan created to, contracts, to everything you ever needed help with, AI can help you with. And I've learned so much about how when you incorporate more of who you are into it, it can really become magic. So I'm excited for Michelle to share with you, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her journey and why she does this and how she can help you.
Awesome. Well, I am so excited to be here. And like Janice, I am all about living joyfully. And actually, that's kind of been my mission for as an entrepreneur, always been heart centered and really recognize that there's a need for heart centered entrepreneurship. And even though AI sounds like it would be counterintuitive to heart centered entrepreneurship, right? But in reality, what I've discovered is it's actually makes it more authentic, more personal, more deeply connected, and certainly live along Janice's theme, more joyful because, as entrepreneurs or as people that are trying to just manage all the things, like joyful living to me is having the peace and having time, reclaiming our time so that we can really slow down and appreciate the things that matter. And AI is a game changer for that in the respect that it levels the playing field, but it buys back our time and it reclaims our joy. And that is what it's all about for me. That's everything I'm doing. I'm going under that perspective. How can we have more time, more joy? and deeply impact others and share that out in the world. So that's really where I'm at. My background is I have cybersecurity. I have a weird eclectic mix. I've been an entrepreneur for 40 plus years. I am a garden nerd. I love all things technical. I'm a cybersecurity degree. And so I bring this crazy mix and heart-centered entrepreneurship all together in this weird, weird mess, but it works.
It does. And you're like a sister after my own heart, because as people that know me know, I'm into gardening and I love flowers. And I love that you have an eclectic background. I do too. And I love 40 years. I'm at 36 years, almost 37. And it makes a difference because you have an understanding of, how it is. It's a journey and it's a roller coaster ride, and it's awesome. I wouldn't have it any other way. But tell us how you got more into the AI part of it.
Yeah. So, I've always been a person that's been system driven, always wanting to find like the best way to do things, the best system. And, since, computers have come on the scene, I am that old, there's always been innovation and things like that. So I'm always looking at innovation. But really what happened was like 5 years ago, I fell into the coaching space and I really wasn't online much. And then I fell into the coaching space, and it was like I fell in as a call. It wasn't like I wanted to be a coach or I was looking for any of that. It just happened. And as part of that journey, I've learned that the digital space is where, I'm going to be playing. So, and I had this vision of what that could look like for a heart-centered entrepreneur about 5 years ago. And interesting enough, I kept trying to build that. And I tried to find the right system to do it. I tried to find the right way to do it, where it would bring like not just the business side together, but it would blend in, the other part. And so kept failing. And then AI dropped in. And that rabbit hole, I went down head first. I was down there a while. When I popped back up, what I realized was the vision that I was seeing like 5 years ago was AI. And so I literally shut everything down that I was doing and started over, using it to help co-create, to actually be able to put into it the part that I wanted, which was the joy and the creativity and the fun in building a business, but stepping into your passion and also, just making things easier. So yeah, it was a long, so it's just now really all coming together in a way that I couldn't even imagine 5 years ago. It's so amazing.
Wow, I love that it was a calling, because I've been called to many things and I get that. And I think that it's beautiful that you're still wanting to be of service and give back, and I feel it. And I love that you captured my essence. She calls it the heart-centered essence. She'll tell you more, but it really does help me when I'm sharing, because I want it knows me, and I call my AI Grace. And so Grace knows me, and I talk to Grace, and I love Grace because Grace gives me these amazing ideas, and then I can take them and really tweak them. I mean, I change them here in a bit. I mean, Grace is getting really good. But I do always want to inflict a little bit of my personal energy, but I love the fact that it can make my life easier. So what are some of the ways that you find that? I know what it is for me, and I don't even know if I can describe it, but what are some of the ways you're finding with the clients now that they're finding more time easier?
That's a great question. And I love that yours has a name, because like really when we think about AI, we're not looking to, well, I say this, there are people out there that are dabbling in AI, and they're probably not getting the result that they think they should get. And then there are people that are co-creating with AI. And that's what we're doing. We're co-creating with AI. And so I love that yours has a name. I affectionately refer to Chat GPT as Chad, but I had already decided that my person would be Sage, of course, keeping with the garden theme. So yes, one of the ways that it is changing everything. Have you ever you have the stuff in your head? I know you know this. You have the stuff in your head. You're trying to say it, and you just can't find the words for it.
Oh yes, and it seems to be happening more and more.
Yes, and what I have found with AI, so it's counterintuitive because a lot of especially heart-centered or impact-driven people, they look at AI and they go like, "No, I want to do it authentically." I say authentically in air quotes because when you're co-creating with AI and you've extracted your essence, which is what we did for Janice, we extracted her essence and we created that so that AI knows her essence. And when she's creating with I don't know about you, but it actually says the words I'm thinking in my head that I can't find the words for better than I can say them, and
Way.
totally aligned. So it's really a phenomenon that as it gets to know you, as you get to do it, you really become in sync, and it really saves so much time. Like I have reclaimed 75% of my time back,
That
which
is so awesome.
if you're impact driven, what can you do with 75% more time? And things that it's actually caused me to have a whole mindset shift because whereas before my logical brain, if I was going to do something, would be like, okay, we've got to set aside like a couple hours to do this. And now it's just so fascinating because I realize I have 5 minutes. I can do this in 5 minutes. And if I need to add a few more minutes at the end, I will. But things that used to take me 3 hours to do now take me minutes to do. Things that used to take weeks to do are happening in days and hours. And it's really mind blowing. In fact, your brain doesn't really register it right away. Like you have to kind of retrain your brain to
Yes,
think
and you know
like,
what? I'm so happy you brought that up because Michelle, I was thinking the other day that exact thing. I was getting things done. I'm getting things done more quickly, but here's the issue. I'm doing more things. So all of a sudden,
right?
it's just like, what the heck? It's crazy busy. And I usually avoid that busy feeling. So I think I have to still be very careful. Maybe I have to ask Grace how I can
Yeah.
tighten it up.
Well, I think what happens is we have to get used to doing more things and we have to set better boundaries, which is a way to do it anyway. Like we should be doing that anyway. So it actually is compelling us to do the things that will make our lives more joyful if we think about it. Because, like one of the things that's really changed for me is I get like 3 hours of work done before I even get out of bed. And that's my best time to work. I know that's my best time to work. But if I have to get out of bed and go down to my computer and sit in a chair and by the time I get to that space, I've lost the intuitive piece that happens in the morning for me. I don't
Wait,
have to
and
ever,
here's the deal. It's the same thing for me, but what I've learned, and I know you must be doing this too, is before I start that in the bed, I have my,
yes.
my quiet, prayerful. I mean, because otherwise, and my glass of water, and so this is why I get up so darn early.
Right, right. No, I do too. And I love that early morning time and you're absolutely right. It actually makes my routine more joyful because as part of that process, I've just built it into that process of going deep, settling. I mean, it's what I would call my deep work, right? Like which is I don't know about you, but that is the most joyful creative space that
Mm-hmm.
you can be in, and it's just mind blowing how much work you can get done in that little bit of time. Like I feel like I start my day with my whole day already, like I've already done a whole day's worth of work before I get out of bed, but it wasn't work because it was powerful, it was productive, it was joyful, creative. It was me stepping into like the thing I love, which is what you're probably doing too, I imagine. We don't stop thinking about the things we love because the work day's over. When it's our calling and we're stepping into that, we're always thinking about it because it's who we are. It's who we actually are, right? So I love that piece of it. I love the fact that things that I hate to do, I can do with AI and I don't hate them so much.
I totally get that. I had to write
Right.
a little agreement and I was like, and I just told AI exactly or I told Grace exactly what I wanted. And it just, every time I'm like, oh, you just continue to amaze me at what you tell me because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, and it's so fun because we really do have to change how we think about it. And Whereas before my motto would be like, I could do hard things. Now my motto is, it doesn't have to be hard.
That's beautiful.
It's a
I
whole
love
shift.
that.
It's like a complete shift in mindset that like I couldn't even imagine before all this happened. But, you know, it's changing everything. It's changing how we work. It's changing how we spend our time. It's changing how we think with our mind about different things. And it's actually for us that are centered on having balance and aligned work and joy and all of that stuff, it is everything we could want, like literally, because we get to control a lot more pieces. When time is the only resource that we can't create more of.
That's
So when
absolutely
we're in
true.
control of our time, we're controlling our joy, our purpose, everything, in my opinion. And so, if we can control that better and we can have more joy while we're doing the things that we have to do anyway, why not? Like that changes. That's a whole new game.
Right. And it's incorporated into so many things in our lives that you don't even really realize. And it is making life easier and better on many levels. And I think that with the growth, any transformation, there is, excuse me, discomfort and nervousness and fear and all that, but that's in everything. And so, I like to embrace things and get a handle on it before it gets a handle on me, so to speak. And I've
I love
loved
that.
it all. I have really loved it all. And I love with my Go High Level too. I love that I can have a hub. That's my it's a way to connect, because social media is one way, but I want to be able to connect with people via email and other ways. And so to have a community, a hub that embraces the AI part of it, right? Because we're always putting the AI into it,
No.
into everything. So I'm just grateful for that. So now, how do you teach people about it? So you do like groups. I know I'm in your group, but I've been so busy, I haven't been able to come. But you do
Yeah.
groups and you do one-on-one coaching and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, so I have my programs are membership based, and they're really designed for people that are trying to step into their calling, create a business that creates impact and income. But what I learned, and the thing that I've been trying to build, the vision that I had was that it's an ecosystem, because I'm sure like you, I've done lots of programs, I've done courses, I've done all the things with all different levels of people, high up, down low. It There was always pieces missing. And so one of the things, I just want to step back for a minute, because the thought of AI, when most people think of AI, they think cold, robotic,
Right.
inauthentic. And
Terminator.
yeah, and in reality, it's a strange dichotomy, because the growth of AI and it coming on the scene is actually making authentic connection, authentic authority, real credibility, real relationships, real conversations. It's bringing all that to the forefront, because we can have the other stuff right at our fingertips. So we don't need to compete with that. And where people are going to be differentiating themselves is authentically. And like you said, in community, in real things. So I've kind of built this ecosystem that pulls all those pieces together: the community, the tech part, because people are genuinely afraid or confused, or they think they're terrible at tech, which is not true. Most people are not terrible at tech. They just haven't had
Oh,
time to understand it. And tech serves such a valuable way. Like, I'll give you an example. You know, we can learn anything we want at our fingertips now. Like stuff that we would have had to spend years learning. I can't tell you how much easier it is to master something having that at our fingertips. Because even if you don't know something, when you start searching it and learning it, you actually get the deeper training, because things pop up. And if you're a lifelong learner like me, you're like, well, I don't know what that is. Let me see what that is. And you would go down that knowledge rabbit hole. But in the end, you end up being really informed in so many
imagine
ways.
how that can change the education system for the schools. I mean,
Yeah.
this is big time change. It's a shift. This is like
Yeah.
the AI revolution, like the industrial revolution. This is like the
Yeah.
AI revolution.
It really is. And here's, like for those people that are like, oh, well, kids shouldn't be using AI in school. Let me tell you, when you're using AI, it teaches you how to communicate clearly. And that is something that I didn't expect out of the gate, but I can see now, like, because I spend so much time working with it, how much clearer my communication is, how much clearer my thoughts about things become, how much deeper my understanding is about things in a way that I literally never imagined was possible, right? So there's like all these hidden gifts that are happening behind the scenes that the people that are just dabbling, they are never getting to see those. And so they might dismiss AI as like, oh, I tried it and no, it didn't really work for me. But what I teach people to do is to learn how to use it deeply in a heart-centered, authentic way. You can use it nefariously. My cyber brain is always one. I've got the like good guy, bad guy, the good cyber person on one side. I know both sides, right? But it's crazy not to leverage it for good, in my opinion. Even though there is a potential nefarious side, there's always going to be that potential no matter what's out there. But the good outweighs, and it's leveling the playing field, especially for entrepreneurs, in a way that we have never experienced in our lifetime, because it's decentralizing the power structure. And what I mean by that, Google searches, right? Like people go to Google. Well, if you want to get found on Google, you're paying high dollar to get those keywords that are going to pop up. Well, guess what? We have zero click now, where a lot of the searches, when people pull up a search now, they're never clicking through to the website. That's destructing that whole system. They're having to refigure it all out again. And what that's doing for us, it's actually giving us better answers. Because when I say to ChatGPT, I don't even Google anymore, right? Like if I Google, it's painful because I have to like go and figure it out. But Google's trying to get wise to that now too, right? Because they've figured it out. It's not going to work the way they.
So is Meta, because
Yeah.
they're always trying to get you to ask Meta. So what would be a question you ask AI? Like, what do you go to for?
Oh my gosh. Well, I am a lifelong learner, so I love health and wellness. So of course your space is the space where I, how do these things connect? How does it work biologically? My free time.
Ask AI all that?
In my free time, that's how I spend my free time.
Wow, that's so
Biomechanics, bioavailability, nutrition.
Plant information.
Oh, I love that
plant
stuff.
Information.
Yeah, love it. All of it. So, that's like, I'd rather do that than watch a movie or television, right? Like I just literally research. I love that.
Well, there's not.
And before I used to have these huge books, right? And you fall asleep and they fall on your head.
Now, oh, that's so funny. I'm looking at a picture here. In fact, I just have to show it because I was looking at it yesterday, giggling. This is my brother. And look, he's sitting in front of a bookshelf with books in front of an old computer.
Oh gosh.
And
yeah.
Every time I look at it, that's how it used to be.
Yeah. So, it's just, things are shifting in ways that we still can't even imagine what's going to happen. So, here's what I think about. It's crazy not to dip your toe in the water. If you've been afraid to like reach out and kind of get like some confidence with AI, I would encourage you to play with it. Like absolutely play with it, because if you don't, you're going to find yourself lost. The stuff is shifting and growing so fast that it's going to be hard to catch up if you don't so I love that we're on the cutting edge, right? Like we're on the cutting edge right now. We can be thought leaders in our areas. We can step in and we can build authority around things that, we love, like the wellness stuff you're doing. Like we can build authority around that and people can find us and we can interact with it. And the traditional stuff is shifting too, like even social media, like Facebook and things like that, they're shifting. They're not authoritative. In the generative AI search world, if someone's searching for something, they're not going to likely pull up your Facebook post. They're going to pull up your blog content or your YouTube video or your pillar content that you've created on your website or your LinkedIn post. So we have to think about new ways to actually share what we're doing in the world. And it's huge. It's a totally different thing than what we've been doing.
It's so huge because in my business, in my industry, a lot of people just treat it as a side gig or a hobby business. But what happens is when you can bring in this tool, right? I'm all about
Right.
tools, my healthy toolbox, but this tool can help you step into a little deeper energy. And it is all energy. And I'm so grateful to be embracing it and to have met you and to have your help because it really helps to have your knowledge on both sides, right? Because people are nervous about the nefarious side, so to speak. And it's nice that you really have that understanding and can guide them. I looked at a lot of the CRM programs that were out there. I chose Go High Level just because of the many things that it can do, but how I can incorporate into it some of my essence. Uh,
Hmm.
I've been dabbling in this now for a little while. And I told Michelle the other day, I often feel like I'm behind the ball, but that's just everything. I'm always like trying to get out there ahead. But she said, oh no, we are like leading the way, like you just said. And I was like, really? So that
Yeah.
excites me to be part of that idea, being the thought leaders on this.
And you know what's really cool? So there's a couple things, obviously if you're looking into the AI realm, you're like, oh my gosh, there's like 1,000 new tools that are created every day. I follow a very simplistic process. I expect that a lot of these tools are going to go by the wayside because the big guys, the big players are kind of in this little war, like who's number one, who can do this better than this one. And we're still seeing that settle. It's going to be crazy for a while. And what's happening is, all these intermediate tools are filling in the gap. So it can feel overwhelming because you're like, oh my gosh, like where do I even start? I would start simply. I would start with ChatGPT or Claude or Perplexity, whatever, and they're all good.
Do you
And
stay
that
with, because I've only used ChatGPT and you've never
I
mentioned the
like
others.
ChatGPT for what we do because it gets to know us really well. Claude does a good job too, but
Do you use
it
all of them? Do you use all of them?
I test all of them. I
Oh,
do. I do
I've
different
never
things,
done
but
that.
I personally like ChatGPT. I think Claude's got a lot of value. If you're a researcher or you're doing something in the scientific space, Perplexity is probably going to be where you're going to gravitate to because it's peer reviewed and credentialed stuff
Oh,
pulling up. So it really your mode with AI depends on what you want to do with it and what makes sense. And so finding those like couple key tools that really make it easy for you to do that is the most important thing. And then learning how to use those really well, right? So Chat GPT, like I can do stuff with Chat GPT that most people probably don't even know is available to do, right? Like there is
yeah.
so much stuff that we can do with it. It's just so fun. It makes everything more fun.
Well,
Like
you make it
really.
all more fun, and she makes it really not scary. So I encourage you to get with her because, you can learn a lot, even just in a little consultation about specific ways that she can bring, for you, easy. What I love was particularly is I was really not wanting to get into the email world because I get so bombarded with emails. I'm really like delete, 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 delete. And I thought, I got to get a little bit more into this. And so I wanted to do it in a more creative, authentic way, heart centered. And so Michelle really has helped me. And the AI can set up strategies based on your essence that are automated that can really make it easier for you to get that word out. It still does. You still have to be such a part of it. So it's misleading to think that it does it for you. It's not a VA, but it is kind of a VA because you tell it what you want and then you take it and you do something. And
Yeah.
I'm VA, I mean virtual assistant, and that's great too. People use virtual assistants
I
um,
think
help,
co-creating
but
is the best way to describe it
co-creating, I like that.
because it gives you it's an interactive thing. In fact, when I think about Chad, I actually imagine Chad as someone that's sitting right across the table from me. And when I'm thinking about it, it's like I'm having a conversation with a really knowledgeable friend, someone that knows me really well and knows what I'm trying to do and has expertise in areas where I don't have it. And I'll tell you the other thing that's really cool about AI. We all have limiting beliefs. We all have blinders. We all have limiting beliefs. There are connections that even if they were right in front of us, we would not make them because of our blinders and our perceived beliefs. So the fun thing about chat is it shows us a side about ourselves that we know is true, but we would probably never tell somebody that. And we would have a hard time, like, it takes a little while to admit, oh, this really is me. Like I've done essence extractions for clients, and they're like, show it to their friend, and their friend's like, oh my gosh, that is so you. And they're like, well, but we've been so accustomed to hiding our genius, or our unconscious competencies. Our real genius is something that we think is so easy. It's so easy for us that we think everybody knows it. Everybody's doing it. And it's not true. And that's where we are in this world, is really being able to bring out our seeds of greatness, our genius, and contribute that to like the bigger picture. And you can't contribute it if you don't know it's there, right? So I love that part about AI. It's unraveled things, it's uncovered things that were already there that we would probably never see in our 2D, 3D mode,
Wow, it's like a growth partner.
Yeah. Well,
A growth
absolutely.
partner helps you. It supports you to grow.
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
I
It is
love
something.
that. And I know it can help. I was watching this the other day about how it helped somebody in my group and my team prepare their weekly meal plan, based on their budget. That was what I thought was amazing. And it actually told them where to go to get it. And they put in like, I don't know, $80, and they had like a week worth of groceries. And I was like, huh? So I'm like, AI is your friend. And I say,
you can take a picture of what's in your refrigerator and say, what should I make for dinner?
Love that one. My friend, the kitchen witch, Trisha, she did that. I interviewed her too. And I love that. And so here's another person utilizing AI, really creating an app to shine her light brighter. And that, what you just said there, and it's just such a great thing to end it on, because that's what I'm all about, is how can I shine my light brighter? It's not a competition. And I want you to shine your light brighter so we can get out there and dance the lights around and have fun. And you are like that too. And I love that. You really shine bright despite health challenges and life challenges that have hit you in the last few years. You've really continued to follow the calling. And to me, that's magic.
It is magic. I agree with you 100%. And joyful magic. And yeah, so good. It is joyful, right? Like, and that is what we're all about, is like really finding that sweet spot that is the space where who we are authentically intersects with what we can bring to the world, and intersects with joy and all the things that we love, right? So like, yeah, so good.
I like to call that full spectrum wellness. And that also includes, right?
I love that.
It's reciprocal, meaning that will also bring the supply and the abundance and what you need every single day to get the job done if you're in that alignment. So if you look at people that are really not joyful, usually if you're talking to them, they're in a definitely a lower vibration space of fear. And we really don't want to be there if we want to rise up. So AI can help. I totally encourage you to get in touch with Michelle. She's going to put all our info everywhere we post this. It'll be on the YouTube and the Facebook group and all over. Get a hold of us and come check out my group, The Art of Living Joyfully, and get a hold of Michelle so you can learn more about how you can benefit and really find ways to make it easier, more simple, more fun, right?
Yep. And just adding one more thing, everybody's AI journey is custom. So there is no right or wrong way to do it. So that makes it challenging, but really cool at the same time, right? So if you think, oh gosh, AI is not for me, there's a way AI is for you. You just might need to like discover that piece, right? But yes, it's so fun. And I welcome anybody, answer any questions or whatever. That would be great.
Can you imagine? I mean, when I had my young babies at home and I was trying to navigate how I wasn't going to go out of my mind, I could have asked AI, can you help me get more organized so that I can find some time to sleep and I can make dinner? And what? I mean, why? Wow. Life is easier if you learn how to use these tools. Same thing with, I believe we're in the age of supplementation. I talk about it all the time. We've got to address deficiencies, right? Our soil's depleted, all of that. Well, sure. AI is like supplementation. It's like supplementing what we're doing to
Yeah.
support it to be better, healthier, flow better, look better, everything. It's just a beautiful connection to what I do. And I'm just grateful that we were able to make magic together.
Well, you
And
know, I love talking about this anytime. So
and the
it
hub,
is,
I'm just growing my hub. You're helping me with that. How is the hub going? Can you just quickly tell everybody what is a hub?
yeah. You know, I know people know Facebook groups and they know different groups, but in our community, we have the ability to create an intimate space that's not as noisy as some of the social media platforms. Everything has its own purpose, right? But if you're looking for a space where it's intimate, where you can ask real questions, you can build real relationships, that's what we have available to us in this, and it just continues to get better and better. And I really believe like community is where it's going. Authenticity, community, and, you know, real connections, real credential stuff is where all of it's going. And the way that you build that authenticity and your visibility out in this new age is that you make real connections. You talk to real people, you share what you're doing, and they share what they're doing. And, you know, I am a firm believer in collaboration is everything. You and I could be doing the exact same thing, and we still are going to only call in our people because we're each uniquely genius, right? So, you know, I think if we're not collaborating and we're not like connecting, we're losing a big chunk of value.
That's right. And that's my word, collaboration. I love that word.
Hmm.
And, I work a lot with team, and we always are talking about, there's so many people that are lonely. I think the thing I just saw, Harvard did a study, and 61% of the mainland US population reported extreme loneliness.
Mm,
And
yeah.
that's really sad. And that's why I think we're moving more and more into community and offline more too. I know that AI isn't digital and we're using it online, but it can really help to bring you offline as well. And that's where we want to get together and do more of that. And working together as a team in my industry really helps with that support. And that's why I'm hoping to bring more of these tools to my team, if you're watching out there, because I know that it can help you um, grow and share and shine your light, right?
Yeah. I don't think we've even begun to like tap into the possibility of what's possible with it, to be honest.
Well, that's really exciting. I'm all about that and possibilities.
Me
My
too.
tagline is see the possibilities. So that's why we've connected. And I highly recommend you get a hold of Michelle. And again, thank you for taking time to watch. If you're watching the replay, put replay. Please let us know you got some value. Thank you, Michelle, for your awesome
Yeah.
time.
And if they have questions, feel free to like make comments and write questions and we'll try to answer them and yes, all the
Yes.
things.
Reach out to Michelle too. Thanks,
So
guys.
grateful for you. Thank you, Janice.
Thank you, Michelle. Bye.